12 US states just banned this Japanese pickup truck, and you'll be shocked when you hear the real reason. It wasn't some quiet political move or secret regulation. The truth? It cost lives. What happened next turned into one of the most heartbreaking tragedies in recent memory. Yes, I'm talking about the K-truck. So, what actually happened started from a quiet drive. Blue skies, kids singing in the back seat, parents finally relaxed after a weekend road trip. Then, out of nowhere, that cute little Japanese K pickup truck decides it's had enough and transforms into a flaming metal death trap. No warning, no crash, just pure chaos. And if you think I'm exaggerating, I wish I was. See, this isn't some sci-fi plot twist or a scene from a disaster movie. This was real. June 2nd, 2025. The Carter family is driving home from Usade National Park, taking Highway 132 like any other family might. But little did they know that the shiny new K pickup truck they were in, yes, the same ones people post cutesy TikToks about, was seconds away from turning into an oven on wheels. Let's be clear, this wasn't even a full-speed collision or a rollover. No, the truck decided to self-destruct. Right after 7:46 p.m., the AC goes haywire, blasting hot air like it's trying to simulate hell. Then the touchscreen freaks out. Then a sharp metallic pop under the truck. What was that sound? Oh, nothing. Just a thermal seal rupture from the rear battery module. No big deal, unless you count the spontaneous combustion that followed. And just like that, the fire starts crawling up the rear tires while the four Carter kids, yeah, all under 12, are buckled up in the back, screaming. Now here's where this story goes from tragic to straight up infuriating. The parents try to open the doors. Nothing. They're locked. No manual override, no emergency handle, nothing. Just your high-tech smart death chamber doing exactly what it was programmed to do. Fail. Michael Carter, the dad, tries smashing the window with a tire iron. Doesn't crack. Want to know why? Because this K-truck's got reinforced safety glass. Oh yeah, bulletproof when you don't need it, and fireproof when you do. Sounds smart, right? Except not for the people trapped inside. At this point, the whole cabin is engulfed in flames, and not a single emergency mechanism kicks in. The 911 call went out at exactly 7:48 p.m. The fire trucks showed up 13 minutes later. But let's be honest, they could have flown in on fighter jets, and it still wouldn't have made a difference. By the time help arrived, the kids were already gone, all four. The back seats burned, the windows still sealed. The parents collapsed on the roadside, helpless. The entire vehicle, just a hollow, scorched frame. And you know what's worse? This isn't even a one-off. No, the issue wasn't a fluke. The Key truck had already been under internal review for similar battery overheating issues earlier that same spring. It had no place on American roads, and yet, here we are. And that's exactly why this pickup truck is now banned in 12 US states. Yeah, not recalled, not temporarily pulled, full-on banned. After this one crash exposed just how dangerous the design really is, state regulators didn't even blink. They yanked registrations, shut down new sales, and told owners to hand them over. You don't get to trap kids inside a rolling fireball and call it innovation. So now, thanks to one tragic incident and years of ignored warnings, this so-called compact marvel is officially off the road in a dozen states. And it honestly should have happened way earlier. Now, here's where AAMVA comes in. And yeah, I know, most people treat regulatory agencies like background noise. But in this case, AAMVA was actually the only adult in the room. Way back in 2011, they released a report. The title? Best Practices Regarding Registration and Titling of Mini Trucks. Cute, right? But inside that little bureaucratic document was a huge warning. Don't bring these things into the US unless they meet federal motor vehicle safety standards. Why? Because K-trucks aren't made for our roads. They're designed for tiny Japanese backstreets, not 6-lane highways with SUVs the size of small houses. AAMVA even cited crash data from the IIHS, showing that these mini trucks are straight up dangerous when surrounded by real vehicles. They even called them low-speed vehicles and said they should be restricted to speeds under 25 miles per hour. You know, like golf carts. But hey, who listens to safety nerds, right? Apparently not states like Georgia, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, New York, and Maine, who had to learn the hard way. They revoked registrations or flat out banned titling these imports under FMVSS non-compliance rules. Like, oops, we shouldn't have let those things on the road after all. AAMVA's original warning, totally ignored until people started dying. And trust me, if you want more stories exposing how these so-called innovations turn deadly, hit that subscribe button now, because this is just the beginning of the madness. Fast forward to 2021, and finally, Massachusetts and other states started applying that same 2011 guidance. They labeled K-trucks for what they are, off-road toys dressed up as actual vehicles. And honestly, that was long overdue. These things are literally built to squeeze through rice fields, not survive an American freeway. But hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why were these things even allowed in the first place? Because people thought they were cute, quirky, fuel efficient? You know what else is fuel efficient? A bicycle. And at least a bicycle won't roast your kids alive because of a glitchy touchscreen and a cost-cutting battery. And to those who still think this truck was adorable or harmless, just remember, it didn't just crash, it combusted. It locked its passengers inside. It ignored every basic safety standard imaginable. It killed 4 kids in under 10 minutes. And all because it was imported under a loophole and hyped as some budget-friendly pickup alternative. So, let's flip the narrative real quick. AAMVA, the agency everyone loves to ignore. Yeah, the one that people thought just made boring manuals nobody reads. Turns out they were the only ones actually paying attention. When everyone else was swooning over how cute and efficient these K-trucks were, AAMVA was busy dissecting their guts and discovering the real horror story buried under all that tiny truck charm. They didn't just raise a red flag, they waved a whole red carpet of warnings. They found out these tin cans on wheels weren't just unsafe. They were practically preloaded with death traps, like, oh, here's a truck, and oh, look, it comes with complimentary thermal failure and rear cabin entrapment. No emergency lever, no way to override from inside. Just good old-fashioned hope the touchscreen works energy. Yeah, because when you're burning alive, what you really want is a glitchy app experience. And AAMVA? They didn't sit on it. Nope, they blasted it. Reports went public. Crash test footage came out showing exactly what happened in the Carter tragedy. Backdoors that refused to open, batteries that cooked faster than a microwave dinner, and vehicles that locked you in like a prison cell. The worst part? These weren't new issues. These flaws had been sitting there for years, simmering under the hood. AMVA just had the guts to bring it all to light. Their internal data got picked up by regulators, and that's when the hammer dropped. 12 U.S. states hit the panic button. In a matter of hours, these K-trucks went from trendy to totaled. Not physically, but legally. Registrations revoked, road usage banned. These weren't warnings, these were full-on bans. The same states that once welcomed these mini metal monsters suddenly wanted them gone yesterday. And once it hit the news cycle, game over. Suddenly everyone and their dog had something to say. Social media turned into a digital riot. Hashtags like #KTrap, #Justice for the Carters, and #WhoApproved. This flooded every platform. People who owned these trucks, screaming about wrongful bans and overreactions. Okay, Karen, maybe if your door locked itself and burst into flames with your Pomeranian inside, you'd rethink your Twitter rant. The public wasn't just mad, they were furious. Influencers posted horror stories of close calls. Grassroots campaigns exploded overnight, with even former K-truck enthusiasts doing a complete 180 and joining the anti-K movement. The pressure wasn't just online either. It hit Capitol floors. States began scrambling to pass reform bills to fix the regulatory dumpster fire they'd been ignoring for years. Texas rolled out Senate Bill 1816, basically saying, all right, we'll allow the ancient ones, if they're over 25 years old and barely running. As if the only thing keeping them roadworthy was their ability to grow a gray beard. No more new imports, no more pretending this is okay. You want to drive a K-truck? Better make sure it's older than the iPod Classic and doesn't catch fire when you turn on the AC. And Oregon? They're debating Senate Bill 1213 like their lives depend on it. The proposed law reads like a shopping list of everything these trucks can't do anymore. Engine must be 660 cubic centimeters or less. Can't go above 65 miles per hour. $63 fee every 2 years, no freeway access. Basically, if the bill passes, you can still own a K-truck, as long as you promise to never actually drive it anywhere that matters. Meanwhile, the market for these death boxes collapses faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. K-truck importer shares, free-falling, dealers, pulling their listings like it's radioactive material. Insurers, laughing in your face if you even think about getting coverage. It's not a car anymore, it's a liability with wheels. And while the market's burning down like a bonfire in a junkyard, Tesla comparisons start rolling in. Except this isn't some fancy EV drama. This is a miniature disaster with global consequences. It's like Tesla's PR nightmares, but scaled down to match the K-truck's dimensions. Cute, compact, and catastrophic. People start treating K-trucks like they're cursed. You can't even sell them on Facebook Marketplace without someone asking, "Is this the model that barbecued that family?" No joke. The whole image is trashed. What was once seen as quirky and economical now screams, "I hate safety and I'm proud of it." And AAMVA? They're sitting there like, "Told you so." They went from being background noise to front-page heroes. The watchdog nobody respected just became the national bloodhound. They sniffed out the problem, broadcasted it, and got half the country to slam the brakes on K imports overnight. Even regulators were like, "Wait, you guys actually had data? And you used it?" Miracles do happen. So now what? The dust hasn't even settled and the wreckage is still fresh. But the bans are in place. The sales are dead. And the public? They're still rattled. They've seen what happens when you let innovation slide past safety. When you let quirky little trucks pretend to be real vehicles without holding them accountable. If that shocked you even half as much as it should have, hit subscribe. Because the truth they're hiding is only just getting started.